from Shooter. This is the DreamHack Atlanta defending champions, and they are looking to come out here and give Team EnVyUs their very first loss. On your screen, Shooter, Boo Boo Doo Boo, Shotzzy. Shooter even said, Shotzzy, he's a crazy man, most likely to die in the 49-49, but at the very same time, this kid goes huge all the time.
Yeah, it's up to, obviously, Renegade, Shotzzy to get the slays down. Shooter and Boo Boo Doo Boo, they're in the support roles, but the thing is you can't really go and say, hey, Shooter, he's a support player, Boo Boo Doo Boo, he's a support player. It's kind of what they've fallen into stat-wise, and it's kind of like their positioning that they get on the map. They are slower players than I guess you can say Renegade and Shotzzy. They're evaluating the map a little bit more. Much more aggressive play styles coming in from their other two teammates. Sure, he's been competing since 2011. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He is a big key to a lot of the Splyce's victories because of the fact of how darn smart this guy plays. He's always in a great position to go clutch, but they're going up against an EnVy squad who is running on all cylinders right now, a very, very scary team. If you had to say the tournament was happening today, I would put my money on EnVy winning. Yeah,
I mean, EnVy, it's hard to count them, bet against them really with how well they've been performing this season. But I do want to take a second to give a big shout out to Halo Data Hive, who has been providing us stats all season long. And of course, they've got a lot of new features on their website as well. You can get updated stats page while watching the scrims, directly listed to all of the pro players.
Yes, very, very big shout out to Halo Data Hive. And also, we got to give another shout out to Moses for making it on there for the eSports Industry Awards as well. Congratulations to him and all the rest of the nominees that made it on there.
Is voting open?
I'm not sure. I believe so, and I believe that you can vote multiple times. Don't quote me, but also Shotzzy and Lethal are on there. So go, I believe Shotzzy for up-and-coming player and maybe Lethal for best console player. So if you guys want to go and vote, go and cast your votes and support the Halo community for that.
All right, now back into the game here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the series layout to see what EnVyUs and Splyce will be matching up on. Game number 1, Truth CTF, followed by Rig Slayer and Plaza Strongholds. Should we go the distance here? And this is exactly what EnVy's trying to avoid. Will be a Coliseum CTF that we saw Splyce have that epic series on against Optic in Atlanta, and then a Game 5 Eden Slayer.
I can't wait to get this one underway. Truth CTF is a great game number 1 to start it off. We're going to see tons of fast-paced action. I would be pretty surprised to see if this game type went the distance. And another thing with Truth CTF is I'd be very shocked to see a team go and string together 2 back-to-back wins to start the series. I feel like whoever wins game 1 is going to have a very tough time in Rig Slayer in game number 2. Two completely different game types, obviously. Rig, you're going to be dealing with the sniper rifle. You're going to be dealing with the scatter shot. Much more team shooting, a lot more fast-paced play here. EnVy has looked phenomenal in Truth CTF throughout this Pro League. Very nice executions running the flag. Great job going into the base and keeping players alive, and also making sure that they've never gotten double capped on as well and giving up the flag captures when necessary. We're starting this one off with Pistol.
Yeah, Pistola, the Wizard here, trying to contest over towards this camo, but Splyce just not only sends one player over pink side, and Renegade almost able to escape with that camo. So both teams will have the time on it, but it is taken out of the equation here to open this one up.
And Pistola still alive, pushing on over towards, was alive until Shotzzy goes and hits him with the grenade on over towards the tunnel. Great defense there coming in from Splyce to open things out. You can see EnVy, they have the control right now of the pink tower. We have Mikwin crouching in there inside of the face area. So Shotzzy, he's going to rotate and respond to some callouts over towards bottom center. Doesn't realize that there's another player still crouching there, and it was Mikwin the entire time, laying down the perfect shots and clearing that area out. Sniped down a little too early with that flank coming in around the car side. He's going to be picked off, but you can see Splyce right now, Kyle, not necessarily on the ropes, but definitely on the back foot right now as EnVy has map control and is continuing to apply pressure.
Yeah, but you can just see how much respect that these two teams are giving each other. This is one of the slower paced true CTFs we've seen to open it up. Both teams just kind of sitting back, waiting to see what the other squad is going to do as far as how much aggression they're putting out, whether or not they're trying to go for some flanks and get some extra flag pulls here. We're on board with Shooter. We highlighted it before this series. Great grenade, picks up the kill onto Snipe Down. and now this is Splyce's opportunity to regain control.
It's weird. When you look at how much they've been trapped in their base, you would think that the Slays are heavily in EnVy's favor, but after those 3 kills right there, Splyce has tied up the kills. So now we're sitting at 8-8, 9-8, actually 9-9 now as Snipedown goes and picks up that kill. So very even game so far, and it's surprising to see that EnVy hasn't been able to apply anything quite yet. Yeah, they do have the flag out, but that's going to be a return and a flag being ran on Splyce's side. They have already towards the 50-yard line, Pink 1. That's a nice stick right there, but a 1-on-3 situation, a 1-on-2 situation, excuse me, as Renegade's the last guy alive. That flag is really far, and they get some decent spawns because Renegade's positioning. So actually, Splyce may be able to get the touch on this.
Yeah, no one from EnVy is able to jump on that return here quite yet. They're buying some time, just waiting for everyone to respawn here. 3v3 situation, but Splyce, they get the flag touch. Mickwin, great job just avoiding these grenades and damage. Still about half shields left, and he has been sitting P1 fighting 3 to 4 members of Splyce for the last 30 seconds.
Great return there from EnVy. Mickwin doing everything he can to continue to add the pressure onto Splyce. Great shots right there on the Renegade. Snipedown finds one on the shooter, and now you feel the momentum slowly shifting on over to EnVy as they've cleared out these members from Splyce. Everyone's spawning on the car side. You got to give this flag cap up right now if you're Splyce. You cannot continue to afford and push in towards the base and die individually. Otherwise, you're going to allow EnVy to get right back over towards top center, get back into P2, and go and start adding more pressure for a second capture here. Great job, though, by EnVy, taking the map and taking advantage of what was given to them. Splyce, very unfortunate for them that they weren't able to give that touch, but Mickwin, what a job he won.
Yeah, Mickwin did a phenomenal job. He bought so much time for EnVy, and he picked up 3-4 kills maybe while they were rotating that flag back to secure the first capture here. Now, Boobadooboo, he's trying to say something about this. Last 2 members of EnVy are pushing in from car side of the base. Great teamwork coming out of Splyce. We see Boobadooboo's able to secure himself another kill. He's doing a good job, though, hiding below the base. He gets those hit markers, recognizes there's multiple players around here. Shotzzy dies below the base, back to a 3v3 situation. Make that 2v2 as we see players and lots of action still happening.
Boobadooboo was doing his best to try to stay alive, and he did a pretty good job of it. Meanwhile, Shooter, he picked up a double kill. They thought that was the opportunity to run the flag, but all 4 members of EnVy were inside of the base right there, Kyle, so there was nothing doing on the side of Splyce. Great defensive stand there by EnVy, and now they are starting to push in to that Splyce base. Snipedown finds the kill. Hook finds another one. Shotzzy, he did get a trade on Mickwin, so that should slow things down just a tad as Renegade finds another. So 2 perfects coming in from the Slayers of Splyce, and now Hook, he's going to have to reset just a little bit and win a couple of big 1v1s, but it's not going to happen. Too much teamwork coming in from Splyce. Shooter, he rotates on over towards the bubble, and this is a great spot to be in if you're a Shooter. You can continue to lay down damage, or you can just sit there and wait for your teammates to push in and then be the guy to run the flag. Shocked to see he's not going to anchor that a little bit longer. Maybe he wants them to spawn over there, and he's kind of taking his teammate's position instead. He does have another teammate coming in from behind, so Shotzzy there with the cleanup, but Shooter had some pretty prime position, and now he rotates to car 1, which is not an ideal to spot, and unfortunately he gets taken out because of that.
Yeah, just once again, amazing defensive hold coming out of Team EnVy. A Shooter was in the bubble blocking those spawns. They picked up a few kills, but Mickwin once again was taking no shields, got up into the peace side attic of their base and able to stay alive by so much additional time. Now, it kind of looks like Splyce are starting to get a little anxious here, maybe a little bit over aggressive, but we just saw a little bit of an uncharacteristic flag pull coming out of Shotzzy. They really didn't have any kind of setup to run that one.
That's true. I thought that Shotzzy was just going to go and try to toss that one towards bottom center. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to get the toss all the way out of the window. Not only that, he didn't even land the melee onto the guy over towards the attic area. So coming off spawn, able to clear out Pink 2, and that's been the big problem for Splyce overall. EnVy, and especially Mickwin, has been controlling Pink 1, Pink 2, and Pink 3 consistently. And if you're Splyce, you've got to get control of that area, especially Camo popping up here in the next 40 seconds. A couple slays going on over to Splyce, and now they're starting to fly into the base. You can see Shotzzy flies into the attic. Pistola has a flank coming around the Pink side. Hook does find a grenade kill, so that should stop Splyce just for a split second, but I don't think they're going to have enough pressure on the side of Splyce to stop and get these flag captures. EnVy, too much defense coming in. You can see 3 dead now. Shotzi last guy alive, and Kyle, we were talking about controlling Pink right when Cam was coming up. That is not what you want to do, giving Snipe down control of Pink 3 and another player, Ola, top center control right when Cam was popping up.
Yeah, Splyce has 3 members trapped in their base, trying to put some pressure on the Pink side of the map here. So many hit markers popping up for Snipe down, and now he's seeing all kinds of red dots on that mini map here, or excuse me, on his radar here. Pushing into the base, there's a player hiding. Boobadooboo not able to secure the kill. That's 2 dead. Now one of them just spawned directly in front of the base, but the timing here doesn't allow Snipetown to grab that new camo right around that 5.5-minute mark. See, flag has dropped below the base here, so no rush to return this one from Splyce. They just need to buy some more time here, hopefully pick up the kill on the Snipetown with this camo.
Ola tossed that flag underneath the base, and because it was underneath the base, they didn't realize the guy had spawned right in front of him, and that guy really stopped the flag cap single-handedly with that spawn. I believe it was Shooter who also stayed alive underneath the base. And anytime that you can go and just try to trade kills, especially when it's the guy running the flag, it puts a huge damper on the plans, and that's what you see right there. Envy, they have to bail on this flag now. If you go and try to get the touch, you are definitely going to die. Someone does get the touch right there, but I'm curious to see how far it actually goes. Surprising to see Pistola toss it out past that 50-yard line right there, but there it is. 3 dead, and now you're on the verge of getting counter-capped. Not very worth it if you're Envy.
Yeah, 3 dead for Envy, and with 4.5 minutes to left, Splyce is moving this flag across the map very quickly. Boobadooboo able to get around the corner. Another 2 dead for Envy. They need to give up this flag cap and try to prevent any kind of count or double cap from happening to them right now, because we are all tied up once again.
That's the first huge mistake we've seen from Envy in a very long time, and it's unfortunate because they seem to have everything going for them. Snipetown picks up the camo. If they didn't run that flag underneath the base, say they just tossed it out the window or even brought that flag more towards the Pink side, they could have got that flag out. That's just a very unfortunate spawn, and also they didn't communicate enough on exactly what they wanted the plan to be. And Kyle, we look from going a 2-0 lead in Envy's favor, a 2-1 lead in favor of Splyce now.
Yeah, I mean, just a crazy turn of events, especially this late into the game against the likes of Envy, nonetheless. Back to a lead here for Splyce, and like I pointed out, Top, they just tried to run a flag that really didn't have a high chance of being capped, and then overcommitted to trying to return it a second time, and that is why we're seeing Splyce in the lead.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That flag was sitting there for bait. Shooter got the double kill, but while Envy made the mistake, you have to give credit to Splyce for capitalizing on that mistake, not just once, Kyle, but twice. 3 minutes left. Can Envy put it together and get a capture here? They're falling behind the Slays now as well, which looked like Envy consistently and constantly adding pressure into the Splyce base has slowly but surely moved on over to Splyce's favor. When you go and you look at the kills, you have Shotzi sitting at 21, the most in the game. Meanwhile, Pistola, he hasn't broken double digits yet.
Yeah, now we're seeing Boobadooboo move this last flag cap that they will need to secure the win. Shooter's back at the base playing some defense. Pistola is the only one in position to really stop this. Boobadooboo doesn't grab the flag as he jumps up into Attic. That does not mean it's going to be a return here quite yet. Lots of Envy players over towards Pink side. 2 dead right now. Make that 3 dead. Last player alive is below the base. Flag is moving in, and that's all she wrote, Tom.
Off of one mistake right there. I mean, there was a couple of other small mistakes that Envy made, but nothing that you can really pinpoint when you're watching. But that flag, it was so obvious that that wasn't going to be a flag capture for Envy. Once Snipetown picked up that camo, once Ola tossed that flag underneath the base and they started to die, and it was a 2-on-2 situation, just continue to hold control there, hold your 1-0 lead, continue to get the Slays advantage, because Splyce, they never have an opportunity to really get out of their base until Envy started making that mistake. And once they got their footing, once they got that momentum, they just ran away with that game. Shotzi 24, 15, and 16. We called Ola out. He didn't hit that double digits, but look at those assists. 9, 19, and 19. Over double the amount of kills there in assists. So great game coming in from Splyce. They take the lead early in this series 1-0, but keep in mind, Kyle, as we previously discussed, not expecting teams to string together multiple victories here. I'd be surprised to see if Splyce goes and wins game number 2. If they win game number 2, Envy, they're still capable of pulling off the reverse sweep. We've seen them pull off 3 or 4 before, but the way that Splyce was able to get it going towards that second half of the game, and the way that they've been able to last week especially run away with momentum in the Pro League, It's scary to see them when they're going and playing with that type of energy and that communication. There's a reason why they won DreamHack Atlanta, and they just proved it.
Yeah, I mean, EnVyUs, they still had a really good performance here. I mean, they did a lot of things right, and it was just kind of getting a little over anxious going for some of those flag caps. It really came back to bite them there. So this is truly a battle of two of the titans here in Pro League. The defense that these two teams put up here, we watched Boo at one point that game, just sitting car one while Hook had camo. They were just waiting to see what Envy was going to do and then tried to counteract whatever kind of aggression they pulled in. EnVyUs, same kind of thing though. Splyce trapped in their base for the first half of that game, but still being able to push out, get a double cap, which really brought that home for them. And then, of course, securing that third and final flag cap.
It's funny to look at. Mikwin, he had 2 perfect kills. The rest of his teammates had 0. So only 2 perfect kills from Envy. Meanwhile, on the other side, you had 8 perfect kills coming out from Splyce. They obviously are shooting very solid. You look at that 1v1. Yes, Hook, he had to go and push on towards P2. Boo, he knew that he had to clutch it out for that final victory. But that was a big 1v1. If Hook wins that, you're possibly looking at a return coming in on the side of Envy. And who knows what would happen after that, considering that the score was only a 1 capture difference. So you got to give credit to where it's due. Splyce, phenomenal game for them. Can they string it together here? 2 back-to-back wins would be huge going up in the series. It's going to come down, obviously, to weapon control. Shotzzy, he's already started off hot. You got to slow him down right now if you're Envy.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Shotzzy is playing out of his mind. It's something no surprise. Shotzzy and Renegade just taking turns going off and putting up huge numbers on the stat board here. So we are getting the players set up ready in game number 2. Like we said, that is going to be Slayer Rig. Now, Tom, are you going to be accurate here in your prediction where we're going to see a back and forth action, or will we see something crazy? I mean, Envy, the most they've ever lost in a series was 2 games against Optic Gaming earlier in the season.
And that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be very tough to string together numerous victories. But if you're Envy, we talked about not having slow starts. Can they come back here and not fall victim to what their big problem was in previous Pro Leagues of the past? 2-0 to start this one here. Yeah, they started off 1-0 in the previous game. It's going to be about maintaining control of these weapons. Snipedown has the scatter shot. You see that sniper rifle sitting there. They desperately want to get it, but they have to clear Shooter out of this bottom nest, and that's exactly what Pistol is trying to do.
Yeah, that was a great grenade, but an even better job by Shooter to dodge that one. Actually grabs himself a kill on top of that on the Mikwin, and Pistola definitely starting this game off a lot better than we saw in game number 1. He did grab the very first 2 kills.
So now he's just going to fall back, anchor the bunker with the rest of his teammates. Snipedown able to find that sniper rifle, Kyle. Let's find out what's going on Snipedown's point of view as 2 players from Splyce are going to drop. And Snipedown, he knows that these spawners are popping up on over towards that carbine area. All members of Splyce right now on the other half of the map, as they should be, because Envy's setting up fairly nicely right now. You do not want to poke out for free right there if you're Shotzzy. You have to go and lay a shot there onto that player and take him out of the scope. Snipedown, one of the best at picking off players who aren't looking at him. There's another headshot right there on the Shotzzy right when he spawns. 12-2 to start this one.
Snipedown is not happy about losing that game number 1. Tom, I don't think he's missed a shot. A couple body shots in there, but he has not missed a single bullet with the sniper.
But what's great about Envy is they can go and look at that game and say, hey, this is a very uncharacteristic mistake from us. And Splyce, they ran away with the game because of this horrible play that we made. And you could say, horrible because of the level of experience that Envy has. They don't go and make mistakes like they just made. And now you can see them making up for that mistake with this 16-4 lead. They are coming out hot and trying to make a statement here. Again, the key is continuing to run away with this hot start. Really just try to demoralize your opponent, and you have the skills to do it. Getting the sniper rifle out of Snipedown's hands is a great start for Splyce. Even just staying within 10 kills, if they continue to do that all the way up to the 30 kill mark, that's going to be fine for them. They just need to make sure that they're continuing to hold the scatter shot, continuing to hold the sniper rifle, and keep that weapon out of Snipedown's hands.
Yeah, and as we saw, even when Snipedown was taken out and lost or turned that sniper rifle over, he's still connected on a body shot before he died. So I literally think he's still at 100% accuracy with that weapon.
Boobadooboo, he's going to drop eventually. Taking a look at the kills, Snipe Down sitting at 7, 0, and 4. Meanwhile, you got Hook at 6 and 2, and Pistola, he's bouncing back 5, 5, and 1, helping with 10 kills. Only 1 death overall. Renegade sitting at 1 and 6 as Mikwin falls off the map. Boobadooboo with a solid double kill. Pistola has the camo and the sniper rifle. Kyle, he was the last guy alive on the side of Envy. He's starting to get shot as well. Renegade's going to come around with the pinch with the scatter shot. Can he take out Ola, who just ran out of camo? This is big if he can find the double kill. Needs to whip out that scatter shot. Ola hits him with the melee. Does he stay on the map? He does. Great teamwork coming in, bait and switching with his teammate Shooter. Pistola somehow throughout all that gets the stick, and you can see Renegade using that map movement to his advantage. Shotzzy has the sniper rifle too, so this is the comeback that Splyce was looking for. It was a ridiculous start. I believe 16-2, a 14 kill lead, all of a sudden cut in half. It's 7 now.
Yeah, I mean, and this is almost like watching a Strongholds game. One team gets control, gathers a lead, and then once the map positioning switches, we'll see how many kills the opposing team is able to answer back. And I thought after a 16-2 start, Tom, that you almost could write that one off, but no, Splyce is not ready to give up yet, and they are looking to put some extra kills here on the board.
Pistola's in a great position to lay down some serious hurting right there with the DMR. Gets the killing spree, gets the top gun. Curious to see how much he's going to challenge. Backs down right when he's on the verge of death and lays 3 DMR shots onto Shooter. Gets rewarded by staying alive with the scatter shot, and that's what Ola does so well. He has to pay attention to that camo. You know Alumnite's going to be on top of it. If he can get scatter shot and camo in the hands of Pistola right now, who again is sitting at 11, 5, and 2. This guy is going to go on an absolute tear.
Yeah, he was 9 and 19 last game, I believe it was. He had a lot of assists, but a little bit of uncharacteristic Pistola stats here. And he is answering back and definitely making up for that game number 1.
No doubt about it. Renegade eating the scatter shot right there, 35-22. Envy looking very strong in this game number 2. Crazy, Kyle, that Splyce was able to bring it back within 6 or 7 kills. As soon as that happened, it reopened up to that huge lead that we were just reiterating. 15 kills now and counting as they continue to hold control. Pistola with the DMR, with the scatter shot, has one for long range, has one for short range as well. He's going to weaken Renegade for his teammate. Renegade hasn't been taken out quite yet either, so somehow able to get a kill onto Mikwin. That could give these guys a little bit of a spark, but you can see a trade of kills happening on over towards the bunker. Shotzzy with 4 scattershot shots left in here, trying to do whatever he can to bring these guys back. But once you hit that 40 kill mark, you got to start going on some big sprees if you're Splyce.
And Shotzzy. I mean, Shotzzy and Renegade, they have to have some of the most absurd and amazing map movement in Halo 5. Dodging these grenades, staying alive for so long. Finally gets taken out here by Envy. But even with all these amazing routes and things we're seeing, still heavy, big lead here for Team EnVyUs. It is amazing, the level of skill on these two squads.
No doubt about it. You got to start getting a little bit tighter here if you're Splyce, though. As we said, they hit that 40 kill mark on the side of Envy. It's good to go in here and get a 2-for-1 trade, but still, even then, you're going to need a little bit more than that. Hook, he's going to drop to Shotzzy. Mikwin, he's going to drop to Shooter, so that's the start that they needed. Boobadooboo, smart choice to back down right there as he was taking down the no shields. He's going to pick off Snipe Down. He didn't see the player appear on his radar right there. That's going to be Hook. Turns around, gets help from his teammate, and picks up the double kill. This game isn't over.
And somehow, you know, depending on whose screen you're watching, you think the game would be tied, but no, not the case at all. Envy still with a decent-sized lead, but by no means can you count Splyce out of this quite yet, because we've seen just how effective they can be at staying alive and racking up kills.
Yeah, and when you watch Renegade's point of view, he's doing some solid things, but when you look at the stats, 5, 8, and 13, so it's just the amount of pressure that Envy's been able to add, and you go back and you look at those spawn snipes and just the positional advantage that Envy had early on in the game, and there's another one of those deaths, unfortunately for Renegade, where he's looking to make something happen, but they are not missing any shots on the side of Envy. If Mikwin doesn't hit the headshot right there, hits just a body or even whiffs on the shot, Renegade's going to take him down the no shields, and eventually Splyce is going to push on that, so you got to give credit to Envy. They answered the call, they come back here, and they are going to win this game number 2 to tie the series up 1-1.
Yeah, and then another just really That was one of the closest games with the biggest score differential that I've seen. I don't even know a better way to describe it.
I don't even know what you mean, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I know, right? 16-2, but then you switch over and we're watching Shotzi's point of view, and he's just racking up kills. So we go over to Snipe Down, and he's not missing a single thing. Pistola, who had that lackluster game number 1, comes out and is the MVP of game number 2. Picked up that Top Gun medal midway through. Means he's grabbed the first 10 kills of the game.
So important to control the power weapons, and that's what EnVy did. 7 power weapon kills. Meanwhile, Shotzi, he had the only 2 coming in from Splyce. So great job, again, answering the call from the side of EnVy. Now we virtually move into a best of 3 series. And again, you look at these teams and you say, okay, look at how skilled everybody is. Once someone gets the weapons, very unlikely that they're not going to go on some sort of a spree with them. That's why the beginning strategy is so very important, Kyle. 16-12, that was a 14 kill difference. The game only ended in 11 kills overall in favor of EnVy. So if you go and you say, hey, reset the start and let's play it from there based on, you know, an even ground, Splyce was right there the entire time. So EnVy, they got to continue again. Once they get this huge lead, build on it even more and try to demoralize Splyce. Unfortunately for them, they weren't able to continue to get Snipe Down rolling. He eventually dropped that sniper rifle, and then someone else had to go and take his spot. It ended up being Ola, and Ola did a fantastic job, not just with the sniper rifle, but also with the scatter shot and that DMR combo.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one kind of unusual aspect of those stats, even with such a healthy win, Snipe Down going 12-13 overall, so a -1 after that start we saw from him. He was easily 3 or 4-0 with 3 additional assists, I want to say. So just amazing overall play, but then really started to get shut down towards the later half of that game.
Yeah, and that's why beginning strat's very important. Also, knowing which color you're going to be playing from, knowing, you know, how to go and counter things from the blue side, because, you know, sometimes you're fighting that uphill battle. Now we're moving into Plaza Strongholds again. Red side's so much different from blue. The strategies are so vast, and there's so many different kinds that you can have. Do you go and you, from the red side, do you send 2 bottom driveway? Do you send on over any players on over towards the yard from blue side or from red side? So many different strategies, so many different layers here to Plaza Strongholds. But I love this series of game types. I feel like we have a very, very competitive 5 here for this series.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see how this one plays out here. We go into a Plaza Strongholds Team EnVyUs versus Splyce. So ultimately, because the series is tied, a remainder best of 3. Next 2 games will decide who. And keep in mind, there's a lot of seeding involved here. If EnVyUs loses this series, it opens up the door for Optic Gaming in the next one, as well as for Splyce to potentially take over Optic Gaming's number 2 seed.
That's true, but keep in mind, Kyle, that if EnVy wins 2 games, that they still do get that number 1 seed. But they're not concerned about just winning 2 games. They want the entire series. They want to go undefeated in this 2017 Fall Pro League. See Renegade staying alive in the posters area, but not long for this world as he's going to drop. Nest's going to get reset eventually. You already have 1 stronghold under control. If you are EnVy, you're just looking for 2 more, maybe 3, as they're going for bottom middle, and eventually they will be going for Nest. So it looks like they captured yard to start, and it doesn't seem like anybody from Splyce was able to control anything quite yet. So you've got to be very careful here. You're on the verge of getting triple cap. Renegade, he's got to come big in this 1v1 against Ola. The nade comes through. Boo Boo Doo Boo flies up the lift. Great job from Splyce.
Yeah, and we can see Mikwin had that camo, gets taken out. So this was another great opening here for Team EnVyUs, getting the camo, getting 2 strongholds. That is, you know, they won the game 1 opening, they won the game 2 opening, and then they won the game 3 opening. So that is definitely going to be something for Splyce to take away from this series, is going to be those opening strategies and how EnVy was able to counter them.
No doubt about it. You got to do your homework, and you got to make sure that, you know, if you're comfortable from playing red side like Splyce probably has through a majority of this pro league, that you go and you play from that blue side and do your research on those red side strategies. EnVy, they're going to be continuing playing from the red side over and over again as they are the number 1 seed, so they're not too worried about what's going on when they're spawning blue. So you got to give credit to Alumni and the rest of these guys for having some very strong beginning strategies, because again, you look at game number 2 and it could have been a wash, and it could have been Splyce up 2-0 in this series if it wasn't for that 16-2 phenomenal starting strategy from EnVyUs. Now they're looking to control this nest again, and surprising to see how Splyce has been able to at least get the resets on there and not allow the triple cap to happen. But now it looks like it's finally coming through, and no, a couple grenades and 3 dead. Another reset coming in as Shotzi's able to do it. Now that Splyce has gotten the 3 dead, they need to rotate towards bottom middle, and they have half of it captured already. They need to send some more bodies in there. Snipe down, he's doing his best to hold these guys out in the truck area. No shields, but isn't gonna last very long as Shotzi picks up that double kill, and Splyce answers with their first points by controlling Nest and bottom middle.
Ooh, Shooter, great job staying alive there. Picks up the kill onto Hook, and now finally, for the first time in this game, we're starting to see Splyce put some points on the board. 3 were just dead for Envy. That is really scary because Splyce, they are playing aggressive and put their own triple cap on the board, and now they've got EnVyUs on those split spawns. You can see them all coming on spawn, just trying to hide and stay alive. The last thing you can allow happen is a team as good as Splyce to keep one member of your squad on respawn during these setups.
But that's a huge kill right there. Hook onto Renegade in a 4-on-4 situation when you're getting triple capped on and you don't have any footing on the map quite yet is a huge series of events. You see they capture bottom middle over that. They almost captured Nest if it wasn't for Shooter going huge with a double kill, but all 4 dead for Envy. Splyce in a perfect setup here after they capture bottom middle. Someone's gonna have to get up over towards top gold, and someone's gonna have to get over towards S4. They already got the guy over towards top gold. That's Boobadooboo. He's locking down the yard single-handedly. Perfect onto Mikwin right there. Now it's up to Renegade and the player over towards his left to lock this down, and it looks like he's working with Shooter right now, trapping these players on over towards Cafe and Blue Ramp. This is a great start right now to this phenomenal comeback. 45 points unanswered in a row from Splyce after it looked like it was all Envy.
And we've talked about that a lot, Tom. It's one team is able to get X amount of points off the start of an opening strategy there, and then the real question comes down to how many points is the opposing team able to answer if they're finally able to regain control. And now we're seeing Splyce. They might struggle a little bit to break some of these great Envy setups, but once they finally do, they are able to just run away and keep the pressure on.
No, that's a great point, because you just look at it and you say, all right, first setup for Envy was held for what, 35 points. First setup for Splyce held for 56 points. Advantage on over to Splyce, right? But now that you have the advantage on the side of Envy in terms of how many strongholds that you have under your control, you got to continue to milk this for everything that it's worth. Camo popped up on the map right there. You could see Mikwin, he was trying to rotate on over towards that. If he's able to pick that up, that would have been huge. You do see another player is going to grab it instead, so it does get burned. Pistola is going to drop on over to Boobadooboo. 2 players dead for Envy. This is Splyce's chance, and they are taking advantage of it. You can see Boobadooboo, his focus is on this Nest, but he has to win this 1v1 against Mikwin. Able to do so. The reset doesn't come in, and he lives through those grenades. Great job from Boobadooboo. Now they control bottom, middle, and Nest. We were wondering how long the second setup would last for Envy. Not very long, Kyle.
No, not long at all. Boobadooboo, definitely an amazing play with incredible shots to kill Mikwin there. And you can just see his level of experience in this game. They had eyes on a few Envy members, but they did not know Mikwin was hiding bottom snipe clip. And only when Boobadooboo turned around and to check for the second time did he see that nade being thrown up to try to hit him.
Boobadooboo's been playing great this game. Love the positioning and also loving how much he's working with his teammates in the bait and switch area. Renegade, he's going to drop snipe down with help from Boobadooboo. Now he's going to grab the light rifle and help with this triple cap as 2 players are going to push on over towards the yard. Focus on over towards the Nest now as Hoop's over there, no shields. Great job getting that kill. Has to go in there and get the reset, but not able to. So now you're going to see Nest go in favor of Envy, but that's going to still be a double cap for Splyce. Now the rotation is going to happen towards bottom middle, so expect to see a lot of players from Envy pushing down there, and they already have. They're 1 step ahead of me even. Very fast rotation from Envy, not leaving any room for Splyce to try to go and fight these guys out of the stronghold.
All right, now we'll see if Splyce here is able to break this setup now coming out of Team EnVyUs. They do have Sniper or Nest here and bottom mid. can see Renegade, he's throwing a lot of nades here. He knows there's some aggression. Finally grabs some hit markers. They got to be careful. They've been dancing and dilly-dallying over there towards glass, and Envy has just ignored them and pushed for yard. Renegade, however, what a great double kill. This is actually probably going to break Envy's setup. They got a little bit over-aggressive and weren't able to lock down yard like we've seen Splyce do so well so far this game.
The most important person to kill right now on the side of Envy is Hook. They got to take out Hook if you're Splyce. Hook is sitting S4 and continuing to lay down damage. Now Ola rotated over towards top Nest. Nest is the serious area for contention. I'm shocked to see that Splyce not rotate over there a little bit earlier. It looks like they're going towards bottom middle instead, which is a little bit risky, but if they get the Slays, either stronghold could necessarily work. You could definitely tell that Envy, their focus is on controlling that S4 area and top center in the middle of the map. Meanwhile, the rest of the guys on the side of Splyce, they've been more focused on the yard area in top gold, splitting the map half and half. As you see a couple of Slays going on over. Hook and Pistola picking up a couple kills, and now it's Envy with the lead. What a back and forth series.
And that was amazing by Envy to stay alive in the nest, which should have been almost a guaranteed kill. It was a 2v1 to start. Allows Pistola to stay alive long enough, wait for help, and then give Envy control as we're heading into the final 10 points of this game.
Only one more push right here. If you're Splyce, big kill right there from Renegade, but that's all for dead from Splyce. Micwin coming off spawn here. They're going for the triple cap. That's pretty much all she wrote because of the pressure that they just put on over towards the yard. They can't go to stop this at yard and go at bottom middle at the same time. Great play towards the end of the game from Envy. They are gonna win game number 3 and go up in this series 2-1.
Yeah, just extremely back and forth, Tom. This series is not disappointing anyone at home watching. We're seeing Envy back to a 2-1 lead. And Tom, you called it right before this series. You don't see any team kind of coming out and running away with it. You see it as a back and forth. And that's exactly what's happened for the first 3 games.
Well, we've watched a lot of Halo, Kyle, and we've played a lot of Halo. So when you do that, you can kind of predict the future, but the thing that you can't predict is Snipedown going -6 and getting most objective.
Yeah.
Wow. This guy's turning over a new leaf.
Yeah, that's something we definitely don't see from Snipedown too often, but whatever it takes to get the W. And, you know, looking at across the board here at Splyce's stats, I mean, they had a lot of assists. Everyone's fairly even as far as kills go. That was just a really great back and forth play. And I think it came down to, you know, a little bit of over-aggression in yard by Splyce at one point. We saw it from Envy, but it didn't make them lose the game here. But Splyce just not able to continue that momentum as much as they would like. This was just such great shots by Boobadooboo here.
Yeah, Boobadooboo was going huge this game. It's surprising to see that Splyce didn't win it. I mean, you got to give credit to Envy again with the opening strategy. When you give yourself that 35-point cushion, that's huge. When you give yourself that 14-kill cushion in Slayer, that's huge. When you give yourself that 1 flag capture, Kyle, what is it? It's huge. So that's the thing is when you go and look at these beginning strategies, now we move into Coliseum CTF. What do you got to do if you're Splyce? You got to get Renegade going. You got to get them the rockets. You got to get these guys the sniper rifle. You got to get Shooter going as well because you've seen some phenomenal plays coming out from Splyce, but they haven't been able to get Slays with the weapons. That's been the problem in this series. And if they can do that, you're going to see them even tighten the gap just a little bit more. And it's already a pretty small gap.
Yeah, I mean, and keeping in mind just the importance of this series, Envy looking for that #1 seed. And it looks like they will be able to secure that with that win now that they've taken the first 2 games. So even if they lose this series, still going to come out and be our #1 seed. But there's still a lot more on the line here because Optics #2 and Splyce still looking to take that away from them.
Yeah, no doubt about it that Splyce, they're thinking about winning this series still. Envy, they're not thinking about being the #1 seed after winning those 2 games. They're trying to close this one out. It's all, again, about the little things here. It's about controlling the weapons, the rockets, and the sniper rifle. Also, one of the things that's been huge is the counter pulls coming in from teams, making sure that you're aware of that last and final guy that could be spawning and running over towards your elbow if you have snipe control. But if it's anything like game #1, we are going to see one heck of a CTF. I'm curious to see if Splyce is going to get anything going with Shotzi and Renegade with the weapons, because that is, again, the Achilles heel for these guys right now. They have not been able to get it going. Just looking at last game, not like it matters too much because it's the shotgun. It was only Shotzi with the weapons. It was only Shotzi in the previous game as well. So I'm looking at Renegade to go huge here if he can get rockets or sniper rifle.
Yeah, I mean, and if anyone was watching Atlanta, you saw one of the most epic and legendary Coliseum CTFs between them and Optic Gaming in the finals here. So this is going to be a lot of pressure on EnVy's shoulders because we know Splyce can perform here.
That's true. Curious to see what we're going to get here. It looks like maybe someone may have lagged out to start, so we're going to get a restart of this game number 4. No kills happened, no beginning strategies were given away, so it's going to be a fresh restart here. Now, the rest of these teams that are watching Optic Gaming, they're probably a little bit upset after seeing that EnVy ended up winning 2 games and most likely gonna, well, 100% now gonna be that #1 seed. But if you're Splyce right now and you're trying to come back again, what do you have to do besides get the weapons? Because we already talked about Renegade and Shotzzy getting it going. What do you think that Boo Boo Doo and Shooter have to do anything differently? Because when you watch their screen, Kyle, it looks like they should be winning the games. It's pretty phenomenal plays all across the board, but then you switch on over to EnVy and they're getting the job done somehow.
Yeah, I mean, Shooter and Boo Boo Doo, we saw them perform extremely well in Atlanta. And even though Shooter didn't have the best stats, always kind of overshadowed by Renegade and Shotzzy, he had some of the most clutch individual performances, especially against Optic Gaming. Being bottom middle, I remember a couple different kills where he's able to, kill a Rocket player and return the flag. So we see lots of flag standoffs when you have some of the top teams playing, because they're not going to over push to try and stop a flag capture, get baited, focusing too much on that flag icon. They're going to rotate across the map. They're going to get a flag pull. They're going to try to bring that back to their base and create a standoff kind of situation.
And sometimes one of the most difficult things to do is accepting that you are going to give up that flag cap. It's going to happen. You're playing against some of the best teams in the world. They're going to execute sometimes, and you can't get too emotional about it. You can't say, hey, guys, let's chase this down. Let's chuck a couple desperation grenades up. Let's give up our positioning and allow these guys to get back over towards Catwalk, get back over towards Top Rockets, because we saw EnVy. They made mistakes in CTF Truth, and that's probably the biggest mistake that they've made in this entire Pro League, and it cost them a game immediately. Splyce was able to go and answer with 2 back-to-back counter captures and run away with that game, and they're lucky that on the side of EnVy how darn good they are, because they were able to weather the storm very quickly in game number 2. 16-2 is absolutely ridiculous to start the game off, and because of that lead, again, they secured themselves game number 2, and because of their lead in game number 3 and the way that they were able to execute towards the end, that's great for them. Again, they haven't completely demoralized Splyce yet, and that's because Splyce is obviously the DreamHack Atlanta champions, but I feel like it's in it for either one of these teams to go huge and completely just 3-0 and manhandle the other team. It's just about executing and not making any of these small, tiny mistakes, like over-challenging when you have a weapon, or, getting desperate on these flag captures, which we've seen EnVy do.
Yeah, now for the very first time, the beginning setup not heavily going over in EnVy's favor. Splyce has been able to answer back and grab themselves an opening kill, but just as I say that here, EnVy not disappointing anyone. Sure enough, grabs the rockets, grabs the sniper, and a couple of additional kills. So I take back what I said, top opening shot, definitely over to EnVy again.
And that's the key thing here in this series. When you go back and you look at it, it's great job by Splyce hanging in there. They've, been playing, I don't know if it's their A game, but it seems like they're playing at a very high level right now, especially in their one-on-one battles. I don't know if their teamwork's completely there. We're seeing great baiting and switching, but these beginning strategies have been so one-sided. It's unbelievable to think that they could do it 4 games in a row.
Yeah, and we're taking a look at Hook now. He's got that sniper rifle. He's already connected on 1 shot, but then gets sandwiched, looks away. Shotzzy pops out from the cave there on blue side of the map, and we'll be able to pick up a double team kill onto Hook. And as I say that, flag starts to move, so it's a 3v3 situation. Boo Boo Doo gets caught out momentarily, but great thrust, able to evade those shots and stay alive. Gets his shields back once again, but no, Snipe Down is the one that's picked up that sniper rifle. Only 1 shot left here. We'll see if he's able to put that to use. No, he will not. That's one of those clutch kills coming out from Shooter. That frag grenade was not an easy one to throw. Snipe Down thought he was in the safety zone there, but Shooter just clearly very experienced here.
Yeah, Snipe Down needs to realize, unless you have your hand on your base, you're not necessarily in the safe zone. So Snipe Down, he's going to lose that sniper rifle. Meanwhile, Shooter continues to clutch it when his team needs him. killing spree right there. Ended up getting that rocket kill. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map from Shotzzy, rockets are popping up, and guess who's on top of that? Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo. He's flying in over towards the elbow. Shotzzy, he finds a double kill. Hook, he's stuck in the back of the base, and that's going to be 4 dead temporarily, as 2 are going to come off spawn over towards the snipe ramp.
Ooh, Shotzzy pops out a hair early. Pistola should be able to pick up this kill. Sure enough, he is, but Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo, he's got the rockets. He's protecting this flag as it's moving back. No, he's just grabbing it himself, and he's going to put that one in. Now, he does get taken out. Renegade, this might be the very first time we see a power weapon in his hands this series.
And if I was him, I'd be going for those rockets ASAP and trying to waste the ammo just so the members from EnVy don't have it, because if you go in there and you grab full rockets, you're going to be doing some serious damage. Still 2 in the chamber. Shotzi's going to pick those up. He shoots 1. He knows he's on the back foot, so it's very important, again, to make sure that you're using the ammo. Even if you don't get the kills, at least allowing the other members of your team not coming off spawn to get rocketed. That's huge by Shotzi. Splyce still with this 1-0 lead, and it's crazy to think, Kyle, after this beginning start with rockets, with sniper rifle, with tons of pressure on the Splyce base, they now have the lead.
Yeah, I mean, after that opening strategy with both power weapons going in favor of EnVy, it's hard to imagine that they're not able to secure their first capture here. But as we said, Splyce, they are the ones that are much more effective at these scrappy caps. But as I say that as well, he is flying with this flag. Nobody from Splyce able to contest that whatsoever.
It's snipe down. You gotta get this weapon out of his hands. What are you doing if you're Splyce? Allowing him to get so many sniper rifles is a lot easier said than done. But once the flag starts going and he can just continually bait people, great job there by Splyce though, at least getting 2 kills, and the flag's now extremely far. But just look how snipe down makes it look so easy. Double kill, now the last guy alive at least is gonna return the flag for Splyce. But EnVy, they've knotted up 1-1, and they are looking for more blood and trying to end this series. Another headshot onto Renegade. That has to be frustrating. He just popped off the spawn. Snipe down. I wonder if he's going to rotate now that his position is compromised. He did get called out, I'm sure, by the teammates. But Shotzzy, he's jumping out looking for the sniper rifle player, and he already rotated from the elbow to the flag, and now he's in the cave, and that's what makes Snipe Down so dangerous. You think you know where he's at, and he's already moved to the next angle.
I mean, Snipe Down just killed Renegade 3 times in a row. Ooh, great stick onto Shotzzy. You can see that through Snipe Down's point of view here. Now, Snipe Down, we just saw him over there sniping towards bottom rockets. Definitely a spot we're going to see a lot more players going to here in the future. And that snipe shot onto Shooter. Snipe Down once again. Gosh, he is hot today, killing Frenzy already. I almost wanted him to get that kill just so it made it 4 in a row onto Renegade, but
and
regardless.
now he's choking spawns.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that guy doing standing still like that, just looking at the flag? Oh, that was a disappointing last shot.
All that.
Wow, that was... What a trash last shot from Snipe Down. I want a refund on that shot.
But he just walks around the corner and finds rockets. That's Snipe Down's life.
I'm gonna have a talk to Mr. Eric Rona about that last shot. That was the that was the Snipe Down montage. He almost went on a 15 spree. We're just joking. We're good friends with Snipe Down. What a display of Halo right there. And out of all that, though, Splyce, they only gave up 1 flag capture, so we could talk about how nasty that was, but in the grand scheme of things, it's all about getting this W, and it's all about getting those flags on the board, and Renegade comes off spawn and flanks around, gets a double kill, and now he's trying to run this down towards the elbow, and hey, if you told me you'd get spawn sniped 7 times in a row, but you'd win the game, Kyle, what would you say?
I'd take it, Tom. It's all about the W here, and all of these players know that. Montage clip would be nice, but yeah, we can see both these teams looking for the W.
And I'm not gonna lie, I have the stream up and I've been watching a replay of the little spree there, and that was just absolutely ridiculous. Got to get tons of replays of that after it's all said and done. Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo, he's added some pressure on over towards the elbow, or excuse me, the cave area. They're going to need someone to push on over towards the elbow and get their rockets that are still sitting there on top of the rocket arch. Can anybody push in and get some different areas, because Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo is distracting big time. Another player is going to rotate on over towards the window. You have another guy over towards the sniper rifle side. That's going to be Renegade coming around towards the elbow area. He has to buy some more time for Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo, though, because Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo is no shield, so we'll see if they're going to be able to pinch on all these players that are stuck in the base. Renegade's going to find a double kill, has another player. Ola, no shields. Shotzi's going to find the kill. That's going to be all 4 dead, and this flag is going to be pulled.
Yeah, just over 5 minutes here left to play. Tied up 1-1, and what grenades come in after all 4 members down. Mikwin goes absolutely clutch, grabs himself a kill, stops that flag, but it is still moving across the map. Pistola, he's found himself the rockets. Is this one going to go in? That is a scary moment. Yes, it does. So Splyce back in the lead here. Shotzzy with the sniper. Pistola had those rockets, like we said, but does get taken out as well. Shotzzy has a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now to step up with the sniper rifle. At least keep it out of the hands of EnVy here. And sure enough, picks up that no scope on Snipe Down.
Unbelievable to go and look at that spree that Snipe Down had. And I'm not sure how many kills Snipe Down had before that, but he's sitting at 17, and I believe that spree was around the 12 or 13 spree mark. So again, just phenomenal with the weapons. But if you take the weapons out of your hands and you're Splyce, look what can happen, right? As soon as that happened, you go and get the flag capture. And even while he did have the weapons, they still didn't put a flag capture up on the side of EnVy. So in my opinion, that's something that if you're alumni, you got to go back and look at and say, hey guys, how do we go on a killing frenzy throughout all of this and not capture another flag? That's not very acceptable on the side of EnVy. Meanwhile, you got to give credit to Splyce for the defensive stand. Not only the defensive stand, but to allow these guys from EnVy to go on a spree and still have the lead and apply offensive pressure has been great to watch. They are trying to push this to a game number 5.
Yeah, and now we're on board with Bubu, who's done a very good job securing these new rockets, recognizing the time in the game. So shout out to Coach Phil as well. As you know, he is with the boys here in this series. And Bubu, I want to say that this is probably some of the best Halo we've seen out of Bubu since summer 2016 season when he was on Enigma 6 and they finished second.
I would also say some of the best Halo Bubu played when they were in relegations, I believe in the fall finals it was. Not sure if that was the exact tournament, but in my opinion, Bubu by far the MVP to make sure that, I think E6 it was, didn't get relegated from that event. So the guy has some really great Halo play in general, great Halo mind. The way that he's able to never look like he's panicking, except maybe right there when he has to go and shoot and waste that rocket. But he's always so methodical when he moves around the map, and that's why it's a great balance to have a player like him and Shooter, and then Shotzzy and Renegade, who are just absolute beasts running around like madmen.
Now, right before Bubu was taken out in that last death, if you were watching the kill feed, I'm pretty sure it was at least 2, and I think I saw a third one. 3 members from Splyce got taken out by perfect kills from EnVy. So that's just crazy to think that how good these two teams are when everyone on the team is hitting perfect shots.
And that's something that we were looking at earlier when Splyce had, I think, twice the amount of perfect kills or something along those lines than EnVy had. This is a huge flag return if Shots can get it. Shots missed right there from Migwin. It was only 1 bullet, but it could have been a big one. Not sure if he would have been able to get that kill and get the touch at the same time, though. Most likely would have ticked away. Unfortunate for EnVy. They cannot seem to find a break inside of this defense of Splyce. Renegade now with the sniper rifle, trying to give Snipe Down a little taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, you see 2 dead for EnVy here. Splyce still in the lead, just under 2 minutes left to play. Of course, if you are new to watching this, there is overtime built into these games. So should EnVy be able to grab another capture, there will be an additional 3 minutes here added to the timer. But as you see, the weapons here in everyone's hands. You had sniper and rockets over in favor of Splyce with just over 1.5 minutes to play. This is a scary moment now for EnVy.
EnVy's got to get a cap in the next minute and 30 seconds. If they do, like you said, Kyle, it will be overtime. They do get the flag touch, but they don't have the numbers. Shooter, he's playing defense with the rockets. He's going to drop Snipe Down as soon as Snipe Down goes for that flag pull. And you've seen a great slaying performance, but the objective efficiency is a little bit worrisome in both of these flag games. Keep in mind, they lost game number 1 on the EnVy side 3-1 after they had that 1-0 lead. And there was only about 5 minutes left when Splyce started to really open it up, and they got 3 flag captures in that short amount of time. Shooter with the rockets, still staying alive, dipping and diving over there. He's eventually going to drop to Migwin. Renegade still has that sniper rifle in his hands, but you can see players from the side of Splyce are starting to turtle a little bit, and that could be a good or a bad thing. The reason that it could be good is, yeah, you can go and stop that flag guy as he goes for the touch, but the bad thing is you're switching up what you've been doing a majority of the game, which has gotten you into this position with the lead.
Yeah, now we're on board here with Snipe Down. There's only an opportunity for 1 push after this. 2 dead for each teams, but that's going to be 3 dead now for EnVy. Everyone coming off spawn. In a situation like this, when you have the lead and the team has to get those flags out of the base, picking up trades is perfectly acceptable. Not a lot of time left to rotate this. Soul is only one in position, but that flag has to be moving now if they have any chance of capturing this. And sure enough, what we're going to see here is a 2-2 series as the time runs out in this one. Tom, we're
Ooh.
going to a game number 5.
Just needed a couple more seconds on that clock to go and relay the flag. I thought that Mickwin was going to go and thrust slide, toss that one into window, and maybe we could have saw a miraculous capture, but with 4 seconds left on the clock, it's just not going to happen. I do like the thought process for Renegade to go in there and get the flag touch with 15 seconds left, because say anything crazy was to happen and he did get shut down from snipe down, he wasn't expecting snipe down to be there, first of all. But if he goes and just grabs that flag, if it's a flag standoff, they can't capture the flag at that time. Time runs out. So a heads up play by him and just heads up game from Splyce overall as we take a look at the stats.
Yeah, and if you can see on these stats here, Boo going a little bit negative there, but doesn't matter if you pick up that win. So it's going to be EnVy outslaying Splyce, but still falling short in this game. And look at this number of perfects. 5 from Shotzzy himself. Power weapon kills 12 for snipe down, Tom. That is absurd.
That's a lot. By far the most we've seen for a single individual in this entire Pro League, if not 2016 and 2017 Pro League. And you gotta be worried if you're EnVy, that it's a 13 spree, maybe a 12 spree, and you still don't get a flag capture out of that. Maybe they got something off the beginning of that spree. And yes, again, Splyce was some great defensive stands, but you got to go back and look at the film and say, hey guys, why aren't we going in here and pulling this flag, or at least getting close to getting a capture throughout all of that? I believe every single flag didn't even get past the 50-yard line throughout all this phenomenal spree. And then all of a sudden, it's 2-1, and you're fighting to try to get the flag capture that you should have had earlier in the game. So now we move into a game number 5, and if it's anything like game number 2, expect to see the side of EnVy to come out hot. But the good news is Splyce, they're playing from the blue side, which means they should be able to get sniper rifle control. And anybody and everybody knows about Eden Slayer that you want to control that blue side, you want to control that sniper rifle. Eventually, we see teams just go and leave that overshield and say, hey guys, let's grab the green gun instead, or let's control catwalk and just get eyes on this overshield guy, find out where he's going, and just try to burn his overshield for him. But I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this game. I thought that this was going to be an EnVy series, but after seeing game number 4, I'm worried that they're falling short on certain communication errors, like we saw snipe down going on that huge spree and no one running the flag. It was 50-39 in game number 2. They really ran away with Rig Slayer, so I'm going to go and predict that they're going to win this game 50-45. But I don't know. This is totally anyone's series.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to keep in mind is that the 2 flag games went over to Splyce, and then the only Slayer so far has been over in favor of EnVy. So we are going to a game 5 Slayer on Eden, and we'll see if EnVy's, just maybe a little bit weaker on some of these objective game types. Is Splyce kind of struggling? Is it going to be a map-specific reason that they're struggling there? Like just came off of Plaza, or is it in fact EnVy's just able to minimize those deaths better than Splyce? And it wouldn't surprise me there, because you've got the likes of Pistola and Hook, guys that just don't die. Some of the people hardest kills in the game. But if you had to choose someone outside of those guys, I mean, after watching these last 2 games, Shotzzy and Renegade are right there as well.
No doubt about it. And keep in mind that Renegade, he had a pretty underwhelming performance compared to what he's typically putting up. I believe only 5 kills in game number 2, and that's not a Renegade stat line at all. Always in double digits in the Slayers, if not the guy that is dropping 20 kills here. So EnVy, I'm looking at definitely getting sniped down back with that sniper rifle, because he is not missing headshots. On the side of Splyce, just have a good beginning strategy here. That's where the focus needs to be. They have not been able to get anything going in the opening minutes.
Yeah, now we'll see. We're on board with Pistola, who grabs that Hydra launcher to open this one up. Immediately pushing over here to try to contest his overshield. And big win, 3 dead for Splyce. So the 5th game in a row, we're seeing EnVy win the opening start.
They got to run away with this, though. That's been the problem, is they'll get up and then they allow these guys to get right back into it. But that's what great teams do, and that's why Splyce is so darn solid. Things going to slow down just a little bit here, as they do in Eden Slayer, especially in a game 5 scenario. Boobadooboo, he's going to drop Pistola down to no shields. Renegade, he's going to come in there with the cleanup. So a 2-for-1 right there in favor of Splyce. That's solid, especially considering that Hook had the sniper rifle, and that's not a spot that you want to be. Have the sniper rifle and all of a sudden all 3 of your teammates die. What you're hoping for is that you're the guy going for picks, because your teammates are baiting them out. But once everybody dies on your team, they're all going to be looking for you when you're the last guy.
Yeah, but Hook did an amazing job just backing down, protecting his location or the information there available to Splyce and waiting for his teammates to spawn. So great job there. Still has the sniper rifle in his hand, but that 3-kill lead that we saw to open this one up was cut down to just 2 now as Splyce put 5 kills on the board.
Guys, tweet the stream. What is going on in here? I do not see enough viewers. Everybody, get on Twitter right now, twitch.tv/Halo. This is the match of the week. These teams are ridiculously talented. We need as many people in here supporting Halo ASAP. Tweet the stream.
And this is literally one of the best series we've had all Pro League season long here. Splyce versus Envy. You know, we thought last season and earlier as well that we might see some epic series there. Splyce fell short to that Optic Gaming roster. We talked about it from then on out. It wasn't the same Splyce we saw in Atlanta, but Splyce, they've answered the call, and now they're putting up those fights.
Big fight happening outside because the overshield is popping off. Hook, he lands 2 no-scopes right there. One player is no shields in front of him. Shotzzy is going to drop him with a nice thrust magnum shot. Is he even going to be able to lay down more damage? Does weaken Mikwin down a little bit, but just enough to get Renegade that overshield. That's all they were looking for. A couple of grenades coming down is going to take Renegade's overshield down to half. Mikwin with the sniper rifle going to find the kill onto Shooter. You got to give advantage to Envy right now, but it's up to Renegade to do something with this Obi. Does he go outside? Does he push down from bottom middle? That's a great start right there, dropping the sniper rifle player with the light rifle. Now the rest of the players from Splyce going to flood in over towards blue. Shotzzy finds one onto Pistola. This could be their opportunity to get back into it, Kyle.
Ooh, and Renegade connects on a body shot. They know there's 2 players over here towards blue platform. We'll see if they push in on their Renegade. Last shot connects with a headshot onto Mikwin. I was a little worried. It looked like Splyce committed a little bit too many resources to secure that overshield, having 3 members go down, but Renegade with that kill onto Mikwin to take the sniper rifle out of his hands and then kill Mikwin off spawn again, gets them right back into it.
What a matchup, what a series. I want to see this one go all the way down to the final seconds. Curious to see if they're going to continue to slow play it again, because they slow played it for that initial, 30 seconds, and after that, it's been back and forth. Once they picked up that overshield, Splyce starts flying around. That sniper rifle is up for the grabbing. You can see Snipe Down. He wants it. He's trying to grenade it to himself. He's blowing up the barrels. He's eventually going to make his way and grab it and thrust out of the way. Shooter's going to drop him, though. Renegade finds one as well. That's a numbers advantage in favor of Splyce. You can see them pushing in towards the blue area. Shotzzy, he's trying to get some more information on where that guy threw the grenade. Once they do that, they're going to clear this alley out and then immediately try to get into security. Great shots from Mikwin right there. That's going to slow that alley push. It's a huge battle over here towards this blue outside because people really want to get that sniper rifle, that Snipe Down dropped.
Yeah, and Snipe Down kills Shooter and picks that sniper rifle back up. So we'll move over on board with him and see. I think he just took a team nade, but nonetheless does not matter who gets the kill onto Shotzzy. Shotzzy did take out Mikwin, so we are seeing this be neck and neck, which just tied up at 19, but some great kills and now a small lead coming out for Envy once again. But this is still nothing like that game number 2. TS on Rig. I think I said Plaza earlier, but Team Slayer on the Rig, 16-2. This is the exact opposite of game number 2.
I don't know if anyone remembered, but you just kind of, bringing back your mistakes, Kyle. I don't think anyone realized it. But yeah, I mean, you got to get this weapon out of Snipe Down's hands. Otherwise, this game, it's going to get out of control very quickly. And this is that mid-game area that is a very sensitive time. They did at least slow the push with the overshield guy a little bit on the side of Splyce, and they have blue, so that's a couple of good signs for them. But again, they have to formulate a plan to take this man down. They were able to do it successfully once already in this game when they double teamed him outside towards blue. But right now, it doesn't seem like they know exactly where he's rotated over there. Only Renegade has the shots, and he does land them. A 4-shot right there onto Snipe Down. Takes out Pistola as well. That is exactly what Splyce needed to do. Can they capitalize on it is the big question.
Yeah, we'll see what happens as this game continues to play out. The largest lead we're seeing so far was up to 6 kills here now for Envy. Lots of action. Players bottom, center, red, 1. Just lots of uncharacteristic locations to be seeing so much action here.
No doubt about it. Now it's a big pistol battle happening over towards Red Nest area. Renegade, he's going to drop Snipe Down, but the trade coming on back. And again, you cannot afford to trade kills. Splyce, they got to get this overshield. Coach Phil, he's waiting on this one. telling these guys to get into position, but you cannot afford to give up any individual deaths in the next 10 seconds right now if you're Splyce. This is probably the most important part of the game, except if they're able to get something going here and get it towards the end game. But there won't be an end game if they pick up this overshield on the side of envy.
Yeah, McQuinn still got 2 shots left in the sniper rifle, and we've seen just how well he can put that to use. New sniper rifle is on the map. Overshield should be spotting up very shortly as well. As you can see, members of Splyce starting to rotate around the map and collapse here. We'll see McQuinn gets taken no shield. Snipe down, he has that new sniper rifle, grabs one, and then answering back and forth 2v2 situations. McQuinn, last guy alive, trying to defend this overshield, not able to connect on the no-scope, uses the last shot in that sniper rifle, and now we're seeing, wow, what an amazing
The stick gets the kill? I had no idea that was going to do that much damage. Snipe down finds another sniper rifle kill. And I gotta say, 12 power weapon kills in the previous game. This game already has at least 4. Again, you gotta get the weapons out of Snipe Down's hands. He had 25 kills last game, and 12 of them came from power weapons. I'm not saying that when you take the weapons out of his hands that he's not gonna get any kills. I'm just saying when he has it in his hands, the amount of kills and the amount of time that he's getting these kills almost doubles.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. Some of the sniping we're seeing from Snipe Down here today, it's got to be some of the most accurate we've seen. The fact that he's able to hit so many in a row without a single miss.
Well, the reason that he is such a great sniper, Kyle, is besides the angles and the aim and things like that, is the point that you just touched on, and the word is consistency. He's constantly in position, but not only that is he's constantly hitting those shots. Very rarely are you going to see him miss an open shot on a player that's not looking at him.
Yeah, now we're over here with Hook. We'll see what he's able to do, but actually Pistola, he grabs himself a kill. McQuinn with another perfect, and it's amazing the amount of perfects we're seeing in this series here now as we move over here to Pistola, who's looking to close out the series 47-36. Now towards the end of this game, it is the largest lead that we've had so far. Scary moment for Splyce. They've got to set up and play this one very, very carefully, because I'm not even sure they have eyes on Pistola quite yet.
They're going to have to play this perfectly, Kyle. They have to have the overshield time. They have to get full overshield. They can't afford to give up another kill, because now you're seeing EnVy sitting at 48. By the time they hit 49, they're just going to go all out and try to get a trade. You got to hope for something miraculous to happen here. Pistola, he is taken down to no shields. They do have good positioning to get this overshield, but McQuinn is clutching it. He sticks Boo Boo Doo Boo, and then the no-scope to end the game. Pistola onto Shooter, just like game number 2. 50-39.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of the game started off much differently. Still a win to open it up for EnVy, taking a 3-0 lead, grabbing power weapons. But then, like we saw, Splyce tried what they could, but game number 2, same exact score in game number 5, 50-39, and it just shows EnVy. They have really tightened up their team slayers here, because in the past, we saw them as objective game types were their strong point, and it's looking a little bit different this time around.
Yeah, unfortunately for Boo Boo Doo Boo, not his best game, sitting at 4-14, but a phenomenal series overall from him and the rest of the Splyce guys. McQuinn, though, the big story of this final game, almost dropping 20 kills, 19, 10, and 13. The most notable kill, definitely the sticky onto Shooter to kill the full overshield towards the tail end of that game. What a performance from all of the players here, and what a sniping performance coming in from Snipe Down. Power weapon kills, it seemed like he had a lot more than he really did. 9 power weapon kills overall for EnVy, only 1 power weapon kill, and that was in the hands of Renegade. That's just not a recipe for success for Splyce. Another recipe for disaster is going to be beginning strategies. That was the Achilles heel here for Splyce in this one. Kyle, even though that they opened up 3-0 on that side of EnVy, that wasn't the reason that they won, but it's still a nice little cushion. You get that sniper rifle, you have that overshield time, and you just try to take any advantage that you can from that.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy that this is the way today was going to open up. We picked some matches of the week that weren't always as entertaining or as close as we might have expected.
I think we did see a 3-0 one time for a match of the week.
Yeah, I think it was Optic Splyce we had chosen, and Splyce kind of fell short there in that series. But we talked about that for weeks on weeks. They just weren't the same Splyce we saw in Atlanta. Now, I think we are seeing that Splyce we saw in Atlanta here, or at least very close to that form. But on the other side, or the flip side of that, this is a completely different team, EnVyUs. Snipe down. He had the hand injury in Atlanta, was not performing the way we are seeing him today. I did not see him go on 12 sprees with the sniper, not missing a single shot, almost hitting running riots like we're seeing from here in Pro League.
If you're Envy, I would be happy about that series, but I wouldn't get too happy because the capture the flags were not clean enough. I'm curious to see if we're going to get an interview, and I